Hi, everyone. I'm really excited that you chose the genealogy project for your research for this semester. I think there's really nothing more rewarding than being able to connect with the past through this kind of method, and I hope you'll have a lot of fun doing it. First of all, go set up a free account at FamilySearch.org. FamilySearch.org is an online product of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church, who has had the premier source of genealogy databases for years. And it used to be before the internet, before Family Search was made available online, that if you were going to do some serious research, you had to pack a bag and you had to go to Utah to go to the actual archives to search through paper copies of everything. And so quite a database has been collected through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for a long time. They also verify this information as it comes in. Now, with the addition of the internet, obviously it's impossible to verify as quickly as people are adding stuff. And you can add information if you have info that they don't have. You can add that. They want you to add that. Then you have people who eventually start double checking and things will pop up. AI also helps double check things now as we load information. So that's an important catch as well. So set up a free account at FamilySearch.org. Also, feel free to set up a free account at Ancestry.com. Please don't purchase a membership to Ancestry.com because they'll get you. If you think, oh, I'll sign up, it's free for 6 months, you better make sure you cancel it if you don't want an astronomical fee coming out of your credit or debit card when that expires. So what I've done is I have purchased Ancestry.com so that it's not just for me to use, but so that when students have an issue, if you can't find something on Family Search, drop me an email with all of the info that you have about a person that you're looking for, and I'll search it for you and send you that information. Because if you're looking for information inside the United States, then you can get a reasonably priced membership for Ancestry.com. It's that international membership that will cost you 2 arms and a leg. And don't pay that. Just don't pay that kind of money for that. Family Search will have all of that US information. I wouldn't worry about that at all. They have a lot of international information now, and it continues to grow as people continue to build the database. So here I am with the family tree I've started at FamilySearch.org. I've got Ancestry pulled off to the side. We'll pull it over in a few minutes to look at it. But I want to show you, this is stuff that other people have added that I was just able to kind of start from. When you make your family tree, like I started with my husband and me, I added our kid, our parents, and pretty much from there, because I have cousins who have been on here and other people who are related to these people that actually, just started kind of filling in. So let me show you how it works. I want to see who the parents of these people are. So I'm just going to click this arrow. See this little tab? This tells me there are some alternate parents for this guy. So I want to see what's up with that. So here I have Mary Catherine's parents, and I have a name Hammock and then Elizabeth J. Hammock. So I want to see what these alternate parents are. I want to see how that works. Henry Hammock and Mary Jane Redding. So that's interesting. It changes things altogether. Hammock and Elizabeth, or Hammock and Mary Jane Redding. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know these people, so I'm not really sure. I'm going to click and see what I can find. So this guy was born in 1829 in Hot Spring County, Arkansas, which puts him in the right place. Let's see where Hammock was born. All right, Hammock, we don't know. We have no idea. Okay. That's something. I do have someone in the family I could ask about. So may have to do that. So yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. Jasper Hammock is somebody I'm not going to follow because I've got questions about this. But here, I have names still showing up. Henry Daniel Holmes is Mary Catherine's father, and her mother is Harriet Tennessee Riddle. And of course, her last name was Holmes then after she married. So these will usually just say the maiden name. So Harriet Tennessee Riddle Holmes, we have a picture of her. I'm gonna click on that just because it's so weird to see pictures of people from this time period. I mean, these would have been some of the first photos ever taken. They click on her information up here. Anytime you want more information, click on the name. That should help. Okay, there are 15 sources for this person, which make me feel pretty confident in this information. So she died in Jacksboro, Tennessee, or Jacksboro, Texas. Okay. Employment, December 8th, 1865. That's interesting. You don't see that a lot. Okay, let's see what we can find from these sources just to see. There's a Kentucky marriage license, the census report, Freedmen's Bureau labor contracts, indenture and apprenticeship records. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Indenture and apprenticeship. Okay. See what we can find out from this. I've never seen one of these before, honestly. Harriet Holmes' employment in Tennessee. Let's look at the original document. It's in cursive, so hopefully you can read cursive. Let's see what this says. Robert Hanson to contract with I cannot even read that. And Harriet, it looks like house. Not sure what that is. That's interesting. We'll keep looking. Let's see another one of those. Freedmen's Bureau. Let's check that one. Harriet Holmes. Okay, that's the name I couldn't read before. Harriet Holmes. So she married Henry Daniel Holmes in Kentucky. Okay. So let's see who the children are that were listed on there. There's Jasper Holmes. That's another thing too in this time period. People really kept family names. There's the Mary Catherine that I believe we were looking for. Some siblings. Okay. So what I need to find out is what this is. What is this? So I'm going to go to Google. What is? Okay. It tells about the Freedmen's Bureau. Freedmen's Bureau in general was formed post-Civil War to educate freed slaves. So what I'm trying to find out is, was my ancestor a teacher or was my ancestor a freed slave? So let's see what it says. The records identify those who sought help from the Bureau at the end of the Civil War. Most were freed slaves, some of which were military veterans. In addition, a few veterans who were not African Americans also sought help from the Bureau. The Freedmen's Bureau records are usually reliable. Okay, so what I'm hearing is we know that my ancestor as a woman did not fight in the Civil War. So I believe what we have here is an African American relative. So let's see if I can find out more about her in general. Okay, we have those sources that we talked about. There's her death. Let's see if I can find anything in details. There's some memories posted, which is interesting. These are things, usually oral history, that people have passed down. So let me check details to see. Okay, that's just the basic information. We do show her father as William Riddle, which is interesting. Okay, let's check the memories. This is the picture. Huh, interesting. Okay, here is an account. Ellen Choate Riddle and Uncle William Riddle to raise. I'm not sure what got cut off there. She married Kennedy Holmes in Kentucky, lived on a riverboat traveling across the or along the Tennessee and Mississippi and Arkansas rivers until his death. And Harriet moved to Charleston in Franklin County and then later to Texas. She lived with her youngest son, Peyton Leo, until her death. The family she left behind moved west because of the pressure on Indians and having Indians in their family. I believe they ended up in Texas, and this is who Harriet moved to be near, but that's just a guess. Okay, so I have heard that this particular ancestor was Native American, but if she was registered with the Freedmen's Bureau, she could have been a mix version of like a mix of African American, Native American, and white. So it's kind of interesting because she looks very Caucasian, you know. I have a niece who actually very creepily looks just like her, you know. So, except my niece has long red hair. It's hard to tell her hair color here. So, that's very interesting. She could have passed possibly for African American or Native American, depending upon her bloodline. So we may have trouble finding a lot of information about her because of that. Let me go back to my tree. Get back to my tree. See what we can find. Okay, so well, I went too far back. Okay, so here we have her. We have her father listed as William Riddle. We don't have her mother's name. So I'm going to leave that because we have someone older to go back to. And chances are, I mean, check out the time period. This could have been a slave mother or Native American mother, and we might not have had documentation about her. Let's check to see if there's a marriage license. There are 13 sources. You'd think one of those would be marriage license, but deaths and burials, census, family ties, select marriages. So he'll take us anywhere. Elizabeth Riddle and a child, Betsy. Okay, we're going to leave that. because I don't know for sure that's legit as part of her family. So let's go on up to Thomas and Harriet Jane, whatever, Happy Rogers Riddle. So you can see these things just pop up. Here's what I want to check to see if I can find someone to add here. Can I add a father for either of these people? So look up Doswell Rogers. What a name. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Drag it off to the side just so I have it as I look up information. Okay. He was actually born in Virginia as a colony. So I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in his name. Dawell Rogers Senior, 1716. Oops, 1716 through 1762. Let's see if anything comes up. Okay, we have WikiTree. WikiTree is pretty legit, so it's fine to use it as a source. Usually in history, I tell you to stay away from Wiki, like Wikipedia or whatever. But here we have some solid information that gives us his name, and it double checks with this because it says husband of Harriet Addenstone. Now we know her previous name too. That's listed here as Boone. Maybe she had been previously married. We don't know. So I want to add Addenstone Rogers and Catherine Doswell Rogers as his parents. And here's how you do that. I'm going to click Add Father. It's going to pop up. I got to call this information up again. Okay. It's going to let me keep it up there. Let's see. Doswell Rogers. And not get his parents. I didn't get his parents' name. Let me cancel that for just a second and go back to my other info. Doswell Rogers. Here we go. I've made it smaller. Okay. I'm going to add the father. So I'm going to have to pull that off to the side. Pull it onto my other screen so I can type while I see it. Okay. His father was Addenstone Rogers. And I can click on his name to get his birth date. So I'm going to do that off screen. Addenstone Rogers. It says he was born before June 1703. So I'm just going to put 1703. And he was born in York County, Virginia. Skip over to the birthplace. York County, Virginia. There it is. Pop right up. Okay, and then death date. See if it's got it. About 1747. And he died in Goochland County, Virginia. All right, let's type that in. Goochland, Virginia. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Oh, I've got to say he's deceased. There we go. Okay, I've entered dates. So there we have it. And here he is. Possibly. This one says he died about 1747. So 1791 is too late. Let's just create this person. We will deal with adding something to him later. Let's create the person. So now we've added a person. Now let me go back to this information. Let me pull it back over here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to click back to Doswell and see that his mother was Catherine Doswell Rogers. Doswell was her maiden name, so he got that name, which tells me that maybe Catherine Doswell came from an important family and she wanted her son to have her maiden name. So it says also known as Moss. So she was the wife of John Moss for a few years. Apparently he died. And then she married Hayden Stone Rogers a few years later. So it looks like all of her children were Rogers. So they were all born to this guy. Okay, so I'm going to pull this aside. And I'm going to use another way to know that we may be onto something with Catherine is that it gives her birth date in full. So I'm going to pull that off to the side and we're going to add her as his spouse. Her name was Catherine, Catherine. Last name Doswell. And then Rogers was her married name. We know she was born. We know she's deceased too. We know she was born October 23, 1704. There we go. It formats it for you a little differently to keep in line with her system. So her birthplace was Charles Parish, York, Virginia. Just gonna pick that. Okay. Her death date, she died sometime after 1750. So I'm going to say 1750. And we know she died in York, Virginia. For some reason, there we go. I want to do it. Okay. There we go. York, Virginia. Okay. And there we have it. So I'm going to click to see, and it says, oh, hey, there might be some people here already that match with her. So let's take a look. According to this information that I've got off to the side, she was married to John Moss first. So we know that's her. We know these are her parents. And this could also be her. 1704. The birth date is right. Let's see if it gives us any more information. I'm just going to click on it to see. See if it gives her parents' names. Married named Catherine Moss. These are her. Here's her additional husband. Okay. She's looked for, somebody has looked for 50 years for a documented middle name. That's incredible. Somebody's been looking for this person for 50 years. Wow. Okay. Well, that made our job easier because this information ties. So, go back to our info if I can find it. Go back. There's our other info. Okay. So we want to connect that one. I'm losing stuff when I'm dragging. Sorry about that. Here we go. I'm going to say about. So that puts her in the right place. It also lists her parents, which is important. Okay. So now we have Catherine Doswell, and we added her dad, or when we added her, got to get rid of John Moss here. Got to get him connected to my tree. There we go. Okay, that's not my tree now. So this is getting confusing, as it will do from time to time. One of the things I like about both Ancestry and FamilySearch is that these pictures will just pop up on your page, and it's kind of neat to see who they find, who can match, and you see family pictures that you might have never seen otherwise. Okay, I'm still getting, okay, we're going to change the spouse to here. There we go. Okay, now I got the right people again. Okay, so now here we are with John Doswell, her parents, and Elizabeth Peace Nutting. You notice we didn't have to do anything to add her. Once we added him, it was already connected. There are other spouses for her, but this is the one that we're concerned about. He has parental options. So that's interesting to see. Let's take a look and see what we can find out about her. The years seem to be about right for reproduction, right? I mean, he would have been 31, she would have been 20 something when they had her. Let's see what this says. All right, Captain Thomas Nutting and Elizabeth Booth. We're going to stick with this one because it looks like it has more information already, and it looks like this was someone who was researching before they found this. So we're going to keep with this information. It looks solid. Here we have an alternate spouse for George Doswell, but this is the one that produced John, and so that's the one we need to keep. What does that say? Alternate spouse for Elizabeth. Okay. Also alternate spouses for George. Alternate parents for George. Okay, so we have the difference between Joan and Joanne, the spelling, which is not a big deal. So we'll go with the one that is already linked and we'll keep it. So let's just click up and see it's already added. Now at this point, this is as far back as it goes automatically. Let's click these people. They go a little bit farther back. Wow, and we have a portrait of someone here. That's kind of interesting. I want to look just for the sake of my curiosity. Okay, I don't know who she is or what memories they might have. It's probably this picture. Yeah. Okay, she had big hair. So did I, like in the 80s. So now I know where I got it from. Not really. Okay, so you can see these can keep going up. You can go as far back as you can. Wow, we hit something here, which is pretty cool. I love when you see text pop up because that means someone has written something about these people and we could click on it to read them. I won't bore you with all of that at this point. So basically, because so many families have already linked information, you should pretty much just be able to click and click and click. If you run across someone, start cross-referencing. I can't emphasize enough the importance of a Google search with the information that you do have. And I'm here to walk you through all the steps along the way. You let me know if you have questions or problems, or if numbers aren't working out for you. I'm going to put the specifics of what I'm expected you to turn in for the project. But again, you won't have to research your whole family tree. That would be time consuming and difficult to do in the length of time that we have. But this is something that you can keep. Your free account will stay with you forever. So you can always update it and add to it. I'm hoping that you'll share the information you find with your family and keep it to pass on to your other family members as well. So I hope that this brief tutorial has helped. You'll run into problems like birth dates won't add up or something. Like in one example, I had an ancestor whose parents were born after they were. Well, that can't happen, right? The parents have to come before the kids. So I knew that that was wrong. So keep your eyes on dates and towns. Don't get messed up on spelling too much. Joan and Joanne can look alike. Sarah and Sally for women are used interchangeably. Also, Martha, Mary, and Mattie also very much used interchangeably, especially in the 1800s to the early 1600s. So keep that in mind as well. If you have any questions along the way, please let me know because I'm really anxious to help you with your project.